it meant a lot to me to get that story out. It meant a lot to convey what it was like growing up, and just a part of just of growing up.
Hello, and welcome to the Nutshell True Story Hour, a podcast for people who love stories. My name is Aaron Carnes, and I'm an author and one of the creators of In a Nutshell Storytelling, a monthly storytelling show in Sacramento, California. My co-creators are the world-class comedian Keith Lowell Jensen.
Hey everybody, this is Keith.
And Amy B., a storyteller and the person who pretty much runs this whole shindig.
It's Amy!
Every episode, we share with you one of our favorite stories told live in our show, followed by a conversation with the storyteller about how that story came to be. This week, we talked to Sacramento attorney turned storyteller Keith Staten. Keith came to our smaller show Wildcard and wowed us with his natural storytelling abilities, so we invited him to tell one on our Nutshell stage. The theme for that night was all you can eat, or food stories, and Keith's mind jumped to his childhood when he was overweight and he picked on a sibling who was also overweight. Keith masterfully toys with the audience's emotions in this compelling story. Afterward, we had an insightful conversation about what was happening in his life at this time and the structural choices he made as a storyteller for this particular piece. And now, here's Keith's story.
Rita, Rita in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Rita, Rita in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Come on. Rita, Rita in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Rita, Rita in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Rita, Rita in the dark. All right, thank you. Thank you for joining me in that song. You might not join me when I'm done. You see, Rita didn't eat up all of Wilson Park. Nobody can do that, right? Nobody can eat a whole entire park. See, Wilson Park was a park in my hometown of Vallejo. And it was a big park. And they did everything there. Softball, baseball, basketball, swimming. All kinds of things were done there at Wilson Park. In fact, people would go there and they would barbecue because it had barbecue pits out there. So there was always food in Wilson Park. The concession stands for all the Little League and Pony League and Babe Ruth. Always food in Wilson Park. And Rita, you see, Rita was fat. And I don't mean just belly fat. She was fat. She was big all over. And we made up that song because we liked to tease her. That's right. That's what we did. So that's why we made up the song. Rita, Rita, in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Had a nice rhyme to it. She didn't like it much. Not at all. But you see, like I said, Rita was fat. And I don't mean just belly fat. I mean she was big up here, here, and here. And she came to live with us. And I would tease her along with my buddies. Because that's what you do to fat people, right? I mean, come on, think about it. We tease fat people. We make it terrible to be fat. I'll give you an example. Go to any restaurant where there's an all-you-can-eat place, right? And everybody's looking, when the fat guy gets up, how many plates is he going to get? You take notice of such things. You don't notice anybody else, but you'll notice if that guy gets up 5 times. And you think to yourself, okay, probably had enough. You probably should put 1 or 2 back. Well, think about it. You know, we go to the grocery store, same thing. You look in their basket, right? And if they got like 4 packs of Oreos, I love the Oreos. But if they had 4 packs of Oreos and 6 Tillamook ice cream things, You say, you don't need all of that. Come on, you're fat. And we keep bombarding our society with, you shouldn't be fat, right? You shouldn't be fat. Darn it. Why don't you just go get rid of it? That's not easy either. And that's the one thing that you just can't get rid of overnight. If you want to call me Four Eyes, and I go like this, I've solved that problem. You see? Which I used to be called Four Eyes, obviously. Rita had big glasses, too, that would look like microscopes, you know. So fat and Four Eyes. You see, what if you took a train or an airplane, and you're sitting there and there's a seat next to you in the middle, and you see there's a fat person that got on, and they're coming down the aisle, and they're doing this, looking for the seat. And you know that you'll be sitting there going, oh, God, please. No, please don't. Not right here. There's other open seats. You're looking around to see what other options there are. And you're thinking in your head, please don't sit right here. This will not be a good flight. And then they get there close, and then they go back. And you're like, oh, yeah. Whew. Tell me you don't feel relief, see, when that happens now. Come on. See. So we do these things to people because they're fat. It's like an epidemic, though, you know? And it starts when we're really young. We ridicule people because they're fat. And it never stops sometimes. You see, in my town, we used to walk to school and back. That was a time when we would walk to school. And I was about 12, Rita was 11. And I had all my friends with me. And we would do the walk, and we would play this game. And this game is called sigging, okay? Sigging. Sigging. On the East Coast, they call it the dozens. It's where you are supposed to ridicule each other. That was the game. I talk shit about you, you talk shit about me. And we go back and forth, back and forth. And it always would end in somebody going, all right, let's fight. And you'd fight and get it over with, pick up your stuff, and you go about your way. Because you couldn't cry. Not as a boy. You don't cry because somebody ridicules you. Not at all. And I was a graduate of sigging at that point when Rita came. I could sig a little bit, you know. I knew what to say. Sometimes I'd study at night. You know, what am I going to say about this person? What am I going to say about their mom, their sister, their brother? What about their family, right? They're so poor. One thing you don't do, though, you don't talk about the mother. See, because when it gets to the mother, that's when you got to fight. I don't know why, but you got to protect your mom. If somebody says something about your mom, it's on. But you fight, you get up, and you go back. And you walk on home. So we would play this every time we walk home. And the way it works is, two people will either agree to sig, or you just picked on somebody. Me and you today, and it always starts with the first insult. That's all. You know, you are ugly ass motherfucker. You know that? Oh, I'm ugly. Look at you. You're fat. How about that, huh? Fat ass. Four eyes. See, it goes back and forth, and you got to come up with little clever things, you know, if you can. So, when we walk home, it was so easy to start with Rita. It was so easy, because all we'd have to do is chant the song, see? And she didn't like that. She would either cry or she'd whoop ass. I said she was a big girl. But being a big girl, what the problem was, Rita could not jig and jag. You see, she couldn't jig and jag. So you had to keep an eye on Rita because you didn't want her to just charge at you. Because she wasn't going to give you any warning before she came. You're hoping that she's back there crying. As long as she's crying, she's not going to charge you. But when she charges you, if you don't see it coming, by the time you turn around, bam, bam, and then she's got you on the ground, and she's wheeling all over you. And we'd have to go pull her off, calm her down. It's all right, it's all right. Let's go on home. And we'd all walk back home. I remember I had a friend named Binky, okay? I don't know, Binky, that's what we called him. And Binky, he had a big-ass forehead. You know, it just seemed to like climb up like Frankenstein's, you know? Like a cliff or some shit. And then his feet would turn in like he was pigeon-toed. And he'd walk like this. And he walked like that the whole time I knew him. And it wasn't until I grew up and grew older that I saw some people who had cerebral palsy. And I realized Binky had cerebral palsy. But we didn't even know that. We didn't care. He'd play basketball. He'd run with us. He'd jump with us. Nobody even thought of that then. So Binky was a little slow. Okay, he was a little slow. And one time, Binky was ahead of us. And he didn't see Rita in the back. And he started to go off on Rita. And I saw it, because I'm right in the middle going, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. And he's laughing at her, you know, like, yeah, Rita, ha, right? And Rita just took off. Just pow, right past me, grabbed him, threw him down, and she wailed on him. And we laughed at him. And we teased him about it. You got beat up by a girl. Dude, that's one other thing we're going to talk about you with. We're going to save that one right here. See, because if he'd only ran to the left and right, Rita couldn't cut and get him. And that's what you do. You got to run left and right. That's how you get away from her. And then she'd get tired, everybody get tired, and then we all go back, and we walk on home. See, it always ended with, we always would walk on home, and everybody forget it, and the next day, it'd be round two. That was life, you know, that was our fun, that was what we did. It was all fun and games, right? I mean, it's what we do, right, as people. I mean, we make fun of people all the time, fair or not. And one day, Rita came into the room with me, and she said, Keith, why don't you protect me from them? Why do you let them talk about me all the time? You're supposed to protect me. Why? I gave Rita exactly what I just gave you. Silence. I didn't know what to say. I mean, I'm fat too. I got 4 eyes and they say I got a hook head. And I've been through all of that. I have fought so many times. I had to get tough. I just had to get tough and just don't let it stick to me. But if I would have protected her, they would have came after me. And they would have came after me harder because I'm protecting her. And I just didn't want that kind of juice in my life. I was a coward. That's right. I was scared. I was a coward. Because I wouldn't protect her. It had to be a little time after that. We were leaving school, and I was waiting around for Rita, and she never showed up. So we left, and we walked. And we walked on home, and the usual happened. Somebody would sig against someone else, and we get tired of them. Then somebody else would challenge them, and it was business as usual, as we say. And I get home, and my mom says, well, where's Rita? And I say, well, she wasn't there. Didn't you pick her up early? Something? What? She wasn't there. And she said, where's Rita? I said, look, I don't know. So she walked away from me kind of swiftly. And Rita didn't come home. In fact, I didn't see her again. I couldn't tell them why. I mean, people were looking and things, I couldn't tell them why. I was guilty. It was my fault somehow, right? Because I wouldn't protect her. Because I couldn't just stand in front and say, leave her alone. I couldn't do it. I was fat too. And if it wasn't her, it was me. I didn't want to be ridiculed more and more neither. I was a child. Isn't that what children do? Right? I mean, you forgive me, right? I mean, ever since that day, I can't go back to the town. I couldn't play at Wilson Park. I couldn't be there. And I kept hearing that thing in my ears. And you know the song. You know it real well, don't you? Rita, Rita, in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Where's it coming from? Rita, Rita, in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Oh, I don't hear me singing now. Rita, Rita, in the dark, ate up all of Wilson Park. Rita, Rita, in the dark.
That was a really emotional story, and I feel like you really had the audience in an uncomfortable position pretty much the whole entire time. They were kind of not sure, at least that's what I picture, is them not knowing quite how to react to all the different elements. And I was wondering if anybody came up to you afterward or what kind of response you got from the audience after the story.
Interesting you would say that, because that makes me emotional each and every time. That's the first time that I ever revealed it to anyone.
Wow.
That's the very first time. I would not give it to anyone. I didn't want them to know what it was all about.
I see.
And so afterwards, there was a couple that was from Vallejo, an older couple from Vallejo who were like, we know Wilson Park. We know exactly where that's at. And others, friends, they thought it was kind of macabre, in a way,
Yeah.
but and that they felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that they couldn't get the song out of their head afterwards. They kept thinking about it, but not wanting to think about it.
Mm.
Well, that's real intentional on your part,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It was exactly.
You set us up.
Yes,
Son
very
of a
much
bitch.
so.
So that's a compliment that they couldn't get it out of your head. I
Yeah.
couldn't get it out of their head.
It is what I intended.
Yeah.
I intended. People thought it was going to be fat and just jovial and stuff like that. But no, I threw a twist in there, that, and people they weren't ready for it.
No.
And that's why I love that they joined me in the very beginning in singing.
Yes.
That's why I said,
Because you got them.
I had them. Yeah, had them.
The theme of this evening was all you can eat, which was basically we're asking for food stories and the relationship people had with food. I'm curious as to why your brain went to this story based off of that theme. Because
I've been fat all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And food, eating too much. People always believe that you eat too much is why you're fat. I don't know why I've always been big. Like Cartman says, I've been big boned, I didn't want to accept that I'm fat, but I do. And so that's where my head went when it came to food. I don't think of food as something to enjoy necessarily or take pictures of it or anything like that. It's just you eat it because you're hungry.
Yeah.
And so if I could eat sweets and things like that all day and all night, package of Oreos in a night, I'd do it. So that's why I went there.
So you don't necessarily have a joyful connection to food to this day?
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I like certain meals. Like I grew up on grits and eggs because my family's from the South. So I can cook grits like you wouldn't believe.
And do you put a little cheese in those grits?
No, I don't. Just the eggs.
Okay.
With the yellow,
All
so
right.
that, you mix it up in the yellow there, But that's what I used to eat every day. And I like that. I have little special meals that I'll eat, because I cook it, Sometimes pasta, and I'll use the sauce and I'll cut up some Italian sausage or something, throw in some vegetables, it'll just be something I invent. And, but other than that, food, if you said, where you want to go eat, I'd be like, I don't know. I couldn't choose a meal, nothing sort of special except for stuff that, like my mom was a cook.
Like nostalgic stuff.
Yeah. So we had soul food growing up, and she was good at it. So everyone loved her cooking, and I've watched women, in kitchen, lots of them in kitchens, feeding everybody and stuff. So food, it was good, but, there were a lot of things I hated too. Like chitlins and, stuff like that.
There's a whole like vegan soul food movement. It's really popular. Like Oakland has a lot of good vegan soul food restaurants, and also like healthy, low fat soul food. Is that a travesty?
Yes, it is in a way. I understand, but I don't want to join in that reindeer game.
Now, you said that the story made you emotional watching it. So I'm curious what that emotion is. And also while you were telling the story on stage, like, what did that feel like to tell this story?
I felt like I was just peeling off part of me, something that I wanted to say, but I've never talked about, what it was like to be sigging and being teased as a boy and just growing up like that, It was just something I never really discussed. And, it has an effect on me.
Yeah.
Even to this day, because as I'm looking at myself, I'm reliving everything. Yeah. I'm walking home from school. I'm remembering all the different fights and things we get into. And so it brings back that memory.
Do you ever run into a thing where you're talking to people about the violence in our childhood, and there's people that also had similar childhoods that will be like, yeah. And then you'll accidentally stumble across someone that didn't, and they're like shocked. I mean, I just had it happen to me last week at work. Me and my friend Andy were talking about like fights we got into as kids, and one of our coworkers was just like, it was like we were telling him that we grew up on a prison island or something. I mean,
yeah, really. And people, you're right. People don't understand that you could fight for nothing.
Right.
It's over nothing, or you get beat.
But you had complicated feelings about it even at the time then, right? Because witnessing Rita kind of forced you to kind of feel more or reckon with the complex emotion behind it, right?
Well, see, I was the one who was the fat. I was fat. Everybody else was not that fat. And I had glasses. And I had a hook head, they said, and the thing back there, I don't know. So I used to get it all the time. So, I really had to get used to it and just learn to make up things overnight that I can talk about someone, and concentrate on it. And hopefully you win the battle, the next day. So it's just something that has always been inside me, but I don't have to use it today or when I grew up. So, unless you mess with me,
Was there a point in your adult life where you maybe looked back and thought maybe that wasn't the best way to grow up? Or maybe, because when you're in it, I'm sure it's normal, but there must be a point where you realize, oh, there's something about this that was damaging to me.
And that's the funny part, is I think it made me strong.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just grew from it. And I was able to take anything as an adult.
Right. And you kind of wish, you were kind of hoping that for Rita in a way. You were kind of saying,
just
kind of hoping she would toughen up.
Yeah.
But how do you feel now as an adult? Do you feel like that same kind of, I feel kind of iffy about it myself. I can see pros and cons to that concept.
I still go for it made me strong.
Yes.
Okay. I'm an attorney battling other people all the time.
Yeah, and you're protecting people, right?
Yeah. And sometimes, and I have to take it from adults a lot, just disrespect and things like that. Mm-hmm. And it falls right off of me. If you quarrel at me, I can quarrel right back. Sometimes people don't realize that, but my mouth can be very, very sharp. Very sharp.
Okay. Let me ask the other two listeners here. Is what happened to Rita vague, or am I missing something?
There is a vagueness.
There's a question mark.
There is a question mark, especially, and I wanted to ask, and I know that the ending is deliberately a little vague, but I mean, I don't know if you're willing to kind of reveal a little bit more about that.
Because I didn't know if the rest of the audience was making assumptions, because I was sitting there going, what happened to Rita?
That was one of the biggest questions too. Yeah, people were just, well, what happened? What happened? And I didn't want to tell anyone.
Yeah.
I just, I'm not going to tell. But I'll tell you this. There were my parents and we were Air Force brats or Air Force, so we moved around a lot. We would go to Mississippi every summer, and we'd spend the summers there. While my father either was in Nam or doing TDY somewhere, working somewhere trying to make extra money. And I have 10 aunts and uncles, 10 aunts and uncles on both sides of my parents, and they grew up a mile away from each other in shotgun shacks. So I have a lot of relatives. When I go there, I don't see my mom. I have other moms. They have so many cousins, and we would play in the woods and stuff and pick cotton, pick watermelon, whatever it was fun to do down there. We didn't see any white people because you did not mix from 1960 to 68 and 70s. First time I went to school with white people was when we would come out west and live. So, but still, it was still, segregated. So it was fun to me growing up. I had all this family around me, and so it was nothing that my mom would take on kids, who had problems at home or something or couldn't stay at home, so we'd have kids living with us all the time. It wasn't a big deal at all, and that was all the way up through high school. And kids would come back, oh, she's going to stay with us? All right. How come? All right. Mom kicked her out. Okay. It was no big deal. And so that's how Rita comes, you see. And,
right. That was my guess.
Yes. Yeah. And then she just left basically and went back to where she came from, or at least tried to, so, okay. But me, I don't, I was too afraid to offer my 2 cents on where she might be or anything like that. It was it's funny because a thing happened to one of my bestest friends. We would always play together. And one day he came up missing after we had played and I went home, and they couldn't find him anywhere. They thought he really had ran away, or something like that. And I'm going, he wouldn't run away. Let's see. Look underneath the stairs in the storage area down there, and they finally did, and they found him in there sleeping, so it was just a place we would hide out. At times nobody knew, but I was like, hey, he's probably down there. And they find him down there, but wow. This was like into the night, everybody was worried.
Yeah.
So, losing kids, there
was a lot more freedom to roam.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God. We'd walk almost a mile to school.
Same.
Yeah.
Just walked everywhere.
Yeah.
Unless I'm mistaken, you're our first attorney, right?
And I have some questions. Some legal advice,
but
please.
as a storyteller, it's like, it's no surprise that we get a lot of comedians.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would lend itself to this. Maybe even some actors or whatever. I'm surprised we don't have more attorneys. I mean, so tell me what it's like telling a story I've seen you tell 3 stories now. And I see what to me strikes me as this lawyerly kind of delivery.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, do you feel that, like in the way you deliver stories, that it feels like something somebody might do in court?
I want to hear you, Keith, our Keith, explain what he believes is a lawyerly delivery first. Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I can hear Keith saying, well, I'm just a small town country lawyer in his white suit with the vest.
So you're saying there's a certain sort of flair and drama to being a lawyer.
There's a word that's accurate that could be taken as an insult, and I don't mean it as an insult, but there's a manipulation.
Just remember, he has a sharp tongue.
There's a manipulation. I mean, even the thing you did where you got us to sing the song before you went in, and I've seen you do that in other stories as well, where you plant something that you're going to use against us later.
And isn't that what you want in a lawyer?
And well, lawyers will do that with the jury, or they'll put an idea in their head and then later go, well, hey, even you had that idea. You know?
Yeah, it's called the okie doke. Yeah.
That's okay. Oh, so there's a term for this, the okie doke.
Well, it's the fake out. You know,
Okay, right.
I want to take you down this river, you know, and you don't know why I'm taking you down that river, but I do.
It's similar in comedy to what we would call a misdirect, but it's more.
Yeah.
It's more than a misdirect.
Yeah,
I mean,
and JP,
you plan.
he says, you know, I'm the bus driver. You get on my bus. I'm
Right,
driving
right.
you. Like, so that's like the people that tell good stories seem to have that manipulation, we'll call it. But the okie doke.
So to circle back to my question, though, what I want to know about the similarities to standing on our stage versus standing in front of a courtroom.
There's not many. It really isn't.
It's very different.
Yeah, when you watch me do a closing argument, and it's pretty much the same way. I am really talking to you. I am telling you what you need to know. You know, I want you to feel what I feel. You know, I use the courtroom, the well, as you know, and we walk around in that area. I use that. I'll go up to the witness stand, you know, and talk about that. I'll walk near my client when I'm talking about my client. You know, I'll point, you know, out to the audience when I'm talking about witnesses who are now gone. You know, like you heard that person say that and stuff, you know, and I there is a theatrical thing about it. Yeah. It really is.
Did you do any kind of drama or anything when you were in school?
Not professionally, but only when I went to San Francisco State and Solano Community College. That's when I got into forensics.
Okay.
One of my speech 101 teachers, who was a trial lawyer, he said, you might could do something with this. And he said, go to do some forensics. So I was like, forensics? What's that? You know, I didn't know what it was. Speech and debate, you know, stuff like that. So I said, oh, all right, I'll join the team. So I joined the team, and you get to do poetry, drama, duo drama, you know. And then you also did speeches, speech to entertain, speech to persuade, informative speeches. And it's all on a competition basis with other colleges.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to come up here, and they had the Governor's Cup up here at Sac City every year. You know, where all it was college and 2-year, you know, 4-year and 2-year competing together. So that put you out there with all these. I got to watch all these people, you know, and hone my skills against them. And that's I only did 3 years. 1 at Solano, 2 years at San Francisco State. And in San Francisco State, we were good. We were always ranked in the top 10 in the nation. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were really good. So you had to turn it up when you went there, because they had all these drama boys. A lot of them from Sacramento.
Really?
You know, who would come up? Yeah, yeah.
We're a dramatic lot.
I guess so.
Here in Sacramento.
Yeah, it was weird, you know, and a lot of them were gay, you know, so it was like, you know, and I used to live with them, you know, so I got inundated, you know, with the drama part of it from that.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to do storytelling? Because I think you've been wanting to do this for a while, right? And you're going to continue doing it, right?
I was actually teased. You remember Leisha?
Right.
Yeah.
Had his comedy class.
Yes.
She invited me to the final,
Yep.
right? You know, and everybody was there.
Listeners at home, he's motioning at me. I had a comedy class.
I was there too.
But Amy was there.
Amy was there
Amy
too.
was a student, right? Or was
or were you a teacher's assistant?
Or you a
at
teacher's
that point?
assistant? Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Amy was my TA.
Yeah. So
That
she
doesn't
introduced
stand for
me.
tits and ass. That's teacher's assistant.
She has them though. Come on.
That's what her set was about.
All right, let's wrap it up.
But she introduced me to Keith. You know, and so it was like, hey, another Keith.
I just want the listeners at home to know what color Amy is right now.
Fire red.
Okay.
But she introduced me to Keith, you know,
Oh.
like, hey, Keith, and then she said, he's going to come and try this storytelling thing or something. Or I told her, hey, I could do the storytelling thing.
That's when you first decided you wanted to do it?
Well,
Oh, wow.
it was a dare. She kind of like dared me to do it.
So we've just learned something about you.
Yeah, that's how I
And
ended up there.
I mean, if I could tell you how many people tell me, I got a story. Everybody's got a story. And I believe them. They do.
Yeah.
But most of them aren't actually going to get to the point where they come to, you know. So when you told me that, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. and you blew
Surprised
us away.
him, yeah.
That was a really beautiful, very vulnerable, emotional story.
This was at first Keith came to Wildcard,
Right.
and told the story there. Put his name in the not hat.
Is he our first person that we have taken from Wildcard to In a Nutshell?
No.
No,
John.
Yeah,
Yeah, but John's an established storyteller.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Are we trying to take credit for Keith?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
It was us.
You
It was
found
all
me.
us.
We made you.
We discovered him, and we want 20%.
20. Hey, can we negotiate that
That's
Let's
fairly
negotiate it up.
generous by Hollywood
Exactly.
standards.
down? But yeah, that's how I ended up there. In fact, I was writing, I'm like coming up with a story. I had to
Wow.
actually.
And you were at Leisha's graduation.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, so when you showed up the day that you told that story, you didn't know walking in the door that that's the story you were going to tell?
Exactly.
Holy hell.
Wow.
Exactly.
Now
Yep.
the reason that's surprising me so much is the story felt very well formulated. It's a story you've told before, maybe not on stage, but
it's a play that I'm writing.
okay.
So I've told the story to myself,
Okay.
a million times. I just haven't written out all the acts and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that's when I had, and then I knew I only had 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, how can I crush this, into 8 minutes and sound like something?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how that happened. Yeah.
But so you are collecting stories now, and you're writing stuff down.
Yes.
Because I know you've showed me some.
How many stories would you say you have at this point that you're working on, or at least have on a list that you want to work on eventually?
About 6 or 7
All right.
Excellent.
that I probably could just blow off right now.
Oh, wow.
Or,
Cool.
can do.
So and maybe it's weird to be asking you about a different story than the one that we all just listened to together, but Wildcard, that story deals with race.
Yes.
Her family.
And the one date.
She's kind of warned ahead of time. She's warned you that her family's not going to be okay with her dating a black guy.
Right.
What was it like to tell that story in front of an audience that was mostly older white people? Did that shake you up at all? Did it?
No.
Or is it something you're
not
used
at all.
to?
I'm very used to it. All white juries.
Okay.
Right. I competed at San Francisco State.
I hear those are popular.
Yeah, very, very common.
Yeah.
But at San Francisco State, I had the experience of going to it was an old educators club or something.
Okay.
And so it was all these old white people who were principals or something, and they all had a little club and they had a little poetry contest. So my coach said, "Hey, Keith, you ought to go get into that."
Yeah.
So I went there and I did 3 things from Langston Hughes and won the contest. And they all came up. I used to know Langston. Oh, he was so proud of you. I just, thank you. So I kind of got used to that a long time ago.
Would the delivery have been different in front of a black audience? Was there work you had to do to bridge?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I do the same. I never thought about that, as for the story.
Yeah.
No, yeah, especially the one with the race. Yeah, the My Darcy. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. That one was really the problem with that is that that was still the best night that I ever had in my life.
That date.
That date. Yeah.
You're so emotional in that story.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I usually cry. Yeah.
and so does most of the audience.
Yes.
I mean, as the person that walks up after you to MC, people are wiping their eyes all over the house. I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe one other time I saw that the woman who talked about going fly fishing with her father.
Mm-hmm.
She had the tears flowing.
Yeah. So that surprised me. Actually, that really did. I didn't, because I do my thing, but I'm watching all these people, doing this, and I'm like, oh darn.
So you
They
noticed
cried.
that too.
Yeah.
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 They were with you.
It was amazing, actually. I felt, wow.
On a similar note, telling the story that you told it in a nutshell, the one we're talking about here, there is another interesting thing where you're putting words to the voice that a lot of people have, prejudice they have towards fat people. You're saying out loud these things that you're not supposed to say out loud. But you yourself are a fat person, so it almost like I wonder if that makes it okay for you, because if you weren't and you were talking about how you don't want the fat person to sit next to you in the airport, people might have been like, nope, I don't want to hear what this guy has to say.
I wouldn't have liked that very much.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to like my story that's not bad.
Well, and there's some value in that too, though,
Yeah.
of not pleasing to everybody, and being controversial.
Yeah.
No, it was good. I like
Yeah.
that. You kind of like put their toes to the fire. Yeah. You've kept them unsettled. They're not sure what to make of it.
Right.
And to the point where maybe they're not sure what they're allowed to laugh at or not, which I'm sure was your intention. And I thought that was very effective.
Oh, I was so happy that happened.
Yeah.
In the end, especially when I'm saying, you're not singing with me
Yeah,
now, are
yeah,
you?
Uh-huh.
And
they're all like, they're like loosening their ties, all of them, even people with no ties or.
It's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
That was the one thing out of all that I wanted. That's why I used the song. It took me a while to put that together, that I could do it with the song.
Yeah.
But it was quite fun. I really appreciate the opportunity of getting that off my chest.
And
so
what's next for you?
Well, I have a good story about my dog. Very good story. Involved
A different one
Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
We've heard one story about your dog.
Yes. I perfected that just a little bit better. Yes. That was the first time trying that.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Already, I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
It was really good, but I perfected that one now a little bit more. And I have one about when I was at San Francisco State, and it's about being on the team and showing the next crew. We were like advertising that, look what we could do, look what we can do. And I told the story to the people about a story that a guy did back east at Nationals. He was he was all, everybody thought he was good and shit, and I'm like, I don't think he's that good. But, he kind of blew me away in the round. So I went back and said, man, this guy blew me away, and here's his story, and it was beautiful. And after I was done, someone approached me who was the subject of that story.
Oh.
Very odd. I mean, yes, I can't. I don't think I'm going to tell you, but but I could, I guess.
And were they okay with their story being used by this guy?
They didn't know this was coming up.
Okay.
It was a book. A guy wrote a book to his children, who was maybe 2 and 1 years old, and he had leukemia, and he knew he was going to die and not grow up with them, or watch them grow. So he wrote a book. How could I not be among you? And he was talking about all the things that they would experience in life and how he was there when they heard the wind blowing, when things were this and that. He was there with them. And he wrote it for his kids. And the guy performed it, back east, and everybody loved it. It was a tearjerker and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, man, that was really good. But I loved the story, that he foresaw, that. And after we did our little thing and I told him about that story, guy walks up to me and says, hey, man, that was my father.
He was one of those kids.
He was one of the kids. Yeah. And I almost blew it, because it was just like, oh, my God. I had that kind of, wow. What I felt so blessed. I felt so charmed, to be able to, wow, dude, I read this book, man. It really.
Like connection complete. Yeah.
And that was the one and only time that I ever seen him. Huh. But it was enough. Mm-hmm. It was enough. So I want to tell that story, and I've let it out there, but.
So are you stepping out and telling story pieces or not right now?
I do that at home on a norm.
What do you mean at home? Like, who are you talking to at home?
I live alone, so I entertain myself.
So literally just kind of telling stories.
Yeah, telling stories.
Better than TV.
Yeah. Yeah, I will sit there and sometimes if I'm working, I'm usually working, but at times when I want to take a break, I'll think about, a story that I want to tell and I'll just start doing it, and preaching or something, playing a part, thinking of I got some other play ideas. I got to do a courtroom drama, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Do you tell, if you go to a social event or a family gathering, are you a storyteller? Are you the guy that, when you guys end up sitting around swapping stories?
I'm usually the person who's talking shit about everybody.
What did you call it?
Sigging.
Talking.
Sigging.
No,
Well,
sigging.
yeah,
No,
sort
actually,
of.
I do have a question about that.
Still sigging?
Sigging.
Talking about them, I would say.
Did you and your friends come up with this term?
No, it was just a Vallejo thing.
So, this is,
Yeah.
so people in Vallejo call it.
Yes. Yeah, well,
Sigging.
Mac Dre,
Yeah, the rapper.
yeah, he had a whole sigging album.
Oh, nice.
feel
Yeah, that was what you
sounds
did in
familiar.
Vallejo. You know,
Yeah.
you did that. That was just something that you had to do. You know, it's weird because it's hard to explain. You know, that's why I say it's like the dozens in a way. You know, but
Have you ever heard Bill Cosby's bits about the dozens?
I probably did a long time ago, but I forgot it. But I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah,
But yeah, we called it burning or ripping.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
I feel like
entertaining.
everyone has
You
their
know,
own version
it's actually
of it.
entertainment.
I called it being mean.
You used to be the lead singer of a reggae band.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us. Tell us.
Yes, we were called Urban Fire, and that's URB hyphen FIYA, the N in between. So Urban
That's
Fire.
awesome.
We did Swabbies, we did Malarkeys. We were all around.
Did
We
you
were-
ever see Urban Fire?
No.
Yeah,
I've been to Malarkey's a lot. I used to go see Filibuster at Malarkey's.
We played with Filibuster a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
we thought we
cool.
were better than them, though.
Did you ever play with the Defendants?
No. We either had the gig alone or Filibuster. You know, they
Okay.
got us in, you know, kind of.
So you guys might have crossed paths.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably have. We
Oh.
played at, we opened for Steel Pulse
Okay.
and Burning Spear out at 160, the hotel that was there.
Right. They used to have
Renaissance.
shows in the courtyard
Yes,
there?
yeah. We opened for them, which is the highlight of
Yeah.
everything for me because
Ah.
I love Steel Pulse.
Oh.
I love them,
Yeah.
you know, and I was just like, what? You know,
Did they have steel drum?
still no.
Okay.
You're trying to figure out where
He
the
knew
name
I
came
was
from.
joking.
I knew she was joking. Yeah,
She wasn't joking.
I was too.
nah, but Steel Pulse is really great, especially from England. You know, they're a group from England. You know, or transplants. You know,
Yeah.
so to
So,
speak.
so how do you feel about ska?
Boo.
Well, because I'm a roots guy. I'm more roots, or I would go a little upbeat, you know. Yes, but real ska is sort of like it's almost like a disco, you know, in reggae or something, you know. And so because it's a little faster and upbeat, you know. When I like the
Yeah.
you know, that kind of beat, you know. So,
Did you play the bass?
No.
Oh, okay. Because
I play all instruments with my mouth, actually.
Did you play in any bands after Urban Fire, or was that your one?
No, that was the one thing. When I started law school is when I started playing with them.
And how long?
We went like 20 years almost.
Wow.
You played with them for 20 years.
It seemed that way, you know.
When's
Because
the last
It was just
time?
1 year.
When's the last time you have performed with Urban Fire?
you know, I can't even remember now.
When's the next time?
Yeah. Reunion.
Well, we did Folsom. We used to do Jaegers. Yeah, we started Friday and Saturday night doing Jaegers. You know, for me, I was a trial lawyer. So, you know, that's why I couldn't play an instrument because I'd have to keep, you know, I need more practice.
Yeah.
So usually that's why I got to sing. And so I'd show up, just sing the songs at practice, get out of there, you know, show up at the gig, let my dreads loose. 'Cause I had dreads at the
You
time.
had dreads?
Yeah.
What would you say if I told you I had dreads too?
I believe you. I believe you.
Let's edit that, please.
You know what? I'll pull up the photos. I'm just gonna.
Let's
own
not,
It
please.
was the '90s, okay?
No excuse.
Thanks for listening to the Nutshell True Story Hour. Please follow us on our Substack, which you can find by going to inanutshellstorytelling.com. Now, we want to give a shout out to some recent paid subscribers. We have Reuven Hanna, who's an amazing storyteller and who will be telling a story later this year on our big stage. And then there is the mysterious Ash Vet, who a person we don't know their real name, but we see their profile on Substack, and we greatly appreciate them subscribing to our Substack and supporting us. We will love you for all eternity. Now, I bet you know one person who would really appreciate this episode with Keith Staten. Maybe someone who grew up getting picked on, or someone who is doing the teasing of other kids. Do us a favor and send them a link and tell them that they must listen to this now. Check out our live show, In a Nutshell, at the Sophia Theater in downtown Sacramento. Our next show is on Friday, July 31st. The theme is Best in Show, or Stories About Animals. You should also come to our smaller show, Wildcard, and put your name in the Not Hat and tell a story. It's every third Wednesday of the month at Teneral Winery in Midtown Sacramento. All that info and more is on our Substack, inanutshellstorytelling.com. If you would like to support us, you can become a paid Substack subscriber. It's all appreciated, and it helps keep live storytelling alive in Sacramento. See you again in 2 weeks.